the time I'm listening.
WATV with Christian, Eric, and Carl sometimes.
Listen in your office, in your car, or even your neighborhood bar.
We're doing it. We're doing it. We're having fun. We're making it happen.
It's fun time.
Open your mouth, close your eyes. We're going to give you a big surprise.
And here it is.
Yes, welcome to Who Are These Broadcasters? I'm Christian Bladt. He is Eric Zane. Are you ready, Eric, to ask the question, who are these broadcasters?
I am. And as you can tell, some real swagger with your old pal EZ, because I've just gotten the latest StreamYard report, and this is the number one show in the Who Are These Podcast universe. Did you see that report I sent you?
I did see that,
Yeah.
but I also noticed your microphone started crackling as soon as you got full of yourself.
Okay, well, that's a problem.
Much better now.
Hang on.
It's good because we almost
Okay.
dipped down to number 2. Who Are These Socials beat us for like a second, but now we're right back at the top of the heap where we belong.
Makes me very happy. I like that.
Well, as always, I have what I consider to be an astounding collection of clips today. I am going to shoot my shot. This might be the best group of clips we've ever had, which means everyone will hate it. And as always, my buddy EZ is going to handle the super chats. Remind everyone how super chats work on this show.
And I like to explain it in horrible, detailed detail. You
Please,
want
yes.
Christian to sign off by saying something really off the rails that you would not expect this nerd to say. Okay, so whoever has the highest amount on super chat and says whatever they want him to say, yes. And when he signs off, he will do that. So highest amount super chat with whatever you want to say. Some of you choose not to. That's totally fine. You're just nice and sweet. We will recognize you on the live stream, of course. And also one more thing. If you make us laugh, you can get on there too for no cost.
For free.
So don't, if you just go on there and say, you guys suck dick, I mean, unless I'm in a good mood, maybe I'll laugh at that. If and then you can get up there, but you're going to have to work on it.
And also, if you put that comment up, we'll probably say, "Ooh, tell us something we don't know." Oh, I tell you, So
exactly. Look at Kelly Riddle, who is always digging deep into his
Kelly
pocket.
Riddle.
It's so sweet. He says, "I need a minute to think of some horrible stuff," and you've got time to do it, Kelly. So thank you so much for that.
Absolutely. We appreciate that, Kelly, and we appreciate everyone. And as always, as almost always, I don't want to be a liar here. We usually like to start with local news, and today is no exception.
Others imitate it. We appreciate it.
So there's a local news story out there that's gotten a little bit of some ink, as they say, what we like to consider a courtroom mishap. And we're going to spend a few moments on this. The defendant is a gentleman named Deborah Deloney Redden. And
Something like that.
When your name sounds like Deborah, you probably start off with a chip on your shoulder. And the sentence, already guilty, found guilty. So the sentencing is what we're going to take a look at. And this is a news story that covers this sentencing hearing. And we'll revisit it in a moment. But let's try to give our audience as much information. His attorney, court-appointed, poor son of a bitch, court-appointed attorney is trying to make the case that he's not that bad a guy. Maybe he should get out. Maybe go easy on him. And the judge feels otherwise. Feels that he needs a taste of some stronger medicine.
In accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, this court.
Oh, Jesus. There he goes.
The judge's law clerk and the security marshal quickly jumping into the fray. The marshal in the white shirt trying to restrain Redden and getting injured in the process.
Yeah, so he's really going to town. But I want to focus on this gentleman over here because this guy, I mean, he is really, I don't think it looks the way I wanted it to anymore. But the guy over there, take a look at him.
Yeah. It's Iraq.
It's Iraq who realized today's free punch day.
You can see lots of punches being thrown. Eventually, Redden is hand.
You want to talk about somebody who has anger issues. Yeah, the guy who dives on the judge, absolutely. But this guy just, my older brother used to decide sometimes that he would get a free punch. And if I retaliated, the next punch would be much harder. And this guy is taking all the free punches.
Iraq's punches don't have anything, but you can actually hear him going in your head. Stop it, you fuck.
I would never say anything like that about my buddy Eric, but this other buddy Eric can say what he wants.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that whoever that guy is in real life throwing the punches, he looks to be completely effeminate with those punches. That is not that's a horrible punch.
No, I think the only punches he's ever done are of pillows. I don't know what that means, but just seems like the thing. So, this guy's really going.
You can see lots of punches being thrown. Eventually, Redden is handcuffed, and the courtroom alarm begins to sound.
It's the most annoying part of the video. Is this courtroom alarm?
The judge is then seen getting up with the assistance of her.
Yeah. So you see that I think the important thing for the news story is to know that the judge eventually does get up. She's understandably rubbing the back of her head.
The judge is then seen getting up with the assistance of her law clerk. She's seen holding the back of her head and appearing a bit dazed. Another court officer then assists the judge as she leaves the courtroom. Despite the frightening and violent nature of the attack, a court spokesperson.
Yep. The air that we have not yet parked on, the distance traveled over that. I mean, that was like old school Walter Payton Chicago Bears.
I mean, it might even be Terry Hulk Hogan off the top rope if our buddy Vinny Paulino is watching. So I wanted to start with that to kind of give us the information, but I think to really understand what happened, we need the uncensored clip that has been circulating due to the fact that this was not televised, but a recorded trial. So we'll get a good look again.
Those are a bitch.
Yep, they're a bitch. Beat that up. American flag goes down. Iraq's stunt double once again getting into the fray. He's so much angrier in this version.
Yeah, I love this version. He's given those 2 or 3 guys all they can handle.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, if I don't get to punch the judge anymore, at least I'll take it out on these guys. And again, there's our Iraq stand-in really going to town. And I love I think this is the guy's lawyer that's approached the bench and is just watching.
Right. Because that would be me. That would be me.
I was just about to say, Eric, if you were in that courtroom, you're not going to sit there and not watch, right?
No. I'm gonna get extra close to see that shit as Iraq takes that fucker to town.
Because the angle that the camera has, you're like, I'm never going to be able to see this if I don't get up right now. So, yeah.
Hey, get off her.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's his attorney who's standing back there. No, the guy who looks like Baba Booey on a bender. No, get off her. Don't do this. We heard him say that earlier.
You're good. Stop.
Yeah, please stop.
Please. Hey, where's Mary Kate? Is she okay?
Is she okay? What do you think?
Wow.
There's one line I want to get in.
Hey, radio somebody? Yeah, give me a fucking radio somebody.
Yeah. It took a minute, and then somebody's like, "Fucking radio somebody." Yeah, you think?
My God. All of that is spectacular. Now, did you get the update?
Yeah, I have a little bit of the update. I just wanted to do one more slow-mo jump.
God, I mean, seriously, over the tackle and the guard. They don't even need to block and just into the end zone.
Yeah, he completely cleared that desktop computer.
Wasn't even close. What a wasted athlete.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah.
He's gonna do great in the prison football team,
Yeah. So yeah, there's a number of updates. I wanted to give a visual one. So he returns to the courtroom a few days later, and that same judge has to sentence him. They make a whole big deal about how that judge can only sentence for what she was sentencing, and she has to put into evidence, here's my notes, what I was going to sentence you. So they're not adding anything onto it because he's going to come back, and we can speculate on that. But I love the way that he comes in with the security, the entire. So it's like you look at him, and this is like the community theater version of Silence of the Lambs, the musical. He kind of comes in. He's got the cloth mask. He's chained everywhere, and boy, there's so many cops.
He's got those those things you played with when you were a kid. You filled them with air. And you put them on your fist, and then you bashed your brother's head in. Those bebop deals, whatever the fuck they are.
I know they're like boxing gloves. I know the things you're talking about.
Yes,
yeah. As he's read the actual sentence, the prosecutor in the case tries to be helpful, and I am always willing to apologize to our audio-only audience, our visual audience. You're going to want to stare directly into this gentleman's eyes while he's listening to what the prosecutor has to say.
How much credit for time served does he have?
It's 0 days. He was on probation when he committed the offense.
Just look at those eyes.
On probation to serve the jail.
He's staring 1,000 of those jumps across the bench.
Right. Yeah, he's hearkening back to the glory days.
He's like, oh man, the last time I was in this courtroom, that was something.
Yeah.
So I have heard more about the case. I couldn't find a news story or anything, but in trying to explain away what happened, he said that I'm sorry, I was just having a bad day, and that's why I tried to kill the judge. And they're like, I'm sorry, you tried to what? Why I tried to kill? Because he probably would have gotten charged with something else.
Yes.
But attempted murder now enters the mix. So I want to follow this story closely, Eric, but if we had to guess, when he gets sentenced for that, do you think it's, I'm going to set the Vegas line because this is in Nevada. I'm going to set the Vegas line at 20 years. You think over or under?
Once that goes through, yeah, I mean, with possibility of parole. With possibility of parole.
Sure. Yeah, right, exactly.
I mean, if it were a white guy, he'd be out tonight.
Right, exactly.
But clearly he's gonna get the book thrown at him.
Well, somewhere in the court system is like, well, it was a lady judge, so.
And I like how in the first clip when the guy did the jump, you had a 94-year-old Rusty the bailiff and an E-Rock stunt double as the defense. And then in the second clip, they've got all these badass motherfuckers surrounding him, and he's chained. He's chained to the fucking floor.
Everybody's like, no, we want to get on the local news tonight because we know that they're going to see us. We want to help out. Oh my gosh! I hope the chat's enjoying these videos.
Oh, they are. They're on. The chat is actually on fucking fire today. There's been all sorts of fantastic jokes. Too many to count, and really, really doing well. I appreciate that.
Well, I do see a great super chat, which is always worth bringing up.
Oh, good. I forgot about it. Thank you.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Ninjas. And whenever we have that, I feel like I always have to say, I mean, I don't even know what that means, but that's a great one. And Simon 343 exclamation point does want to know who has the most frosted tips, Carl or Eric? I mean, your tips aren't frosted. Your hair's gray. Carl's hair is naturally brown, but he wants to look like, I don't know, Joey Fatone or somebody.
Yeah, I talked to him this week, and he actually said, look, let's continue this. Because I always like to do the pull back the curtain, and he gets pissed off at me. But he says, look, I want to continue this fake storyline that I don't frost my tips to keep the buzz going. Will you, do that for me and keep it going? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. But so yeah, he absolutely is doing that and then acting like he's not. So that's, he likes to look very meta and very metrosexual. That's what he's going for.
He's a man for the 21st century. I think that's what everybody says.
Yep.
Also some crazy stuff happening in the 21st century. I just realized that transition didn't work. But there are a lot of ways that oh my gosh, Carl himself in the chat says lies.
Oh yeah.
But how angry can he be after Vinny had to sit there while his Bills just battered the Dolphins on Sunday night?
Exactly.
I caught a little of that live stream. Carl was in good spirits, and we could feel bad for Vinny, but we know what he does with his feelings.
Exactly.
Anyway,
that's true.
So there's probably a number of ways that one can turn a kitten pink. And this surprised me.
6 follow-up about that little pink kitty, which is on the mend tonight after almost dying. And this evening, we're learning more about the owner accused of abuse. Plus, you're seeing these new photos of that little kitten.
So first of all, it's important in this story to, and for the sake of our show, to make sure that everyone knows this kitten's still alive. Because,
of course.
Just like the judge, stood up, and I had to show that. The judge didn't die in that video.
Yes.
This kitten didn't die. But it's going to be interesting when you hear how this kitten turned pink up in Oregon.
Really? The thing is, I fucking love pink kitties. I mean, there's nothing better than stroking one. And I'm glad that that's what this story is all about.
You're a big fan of the 40s novelty song they played on WATS not long ago, a song called My Girl's Pussy. I like to get it when it's wet.
Yes,
it's my girl's pussy. Yeah,
absolutely. So what's the background on this pussy that's all pink?
Probably too much rubbing, but let's find out.
Photos of that little kitten. 39-year-old Elizabeth Zurcher Wood was charged with animal abuse after bringing that kitten to a local animal hospital. According to police, she claimed she tried to clean that cat with a mixture of rubbing alcohol, Windex, some other household cleaners because the animal had diarrhea.
Okay, so your animal has diarrhea, and you immediately go to Mr. Clean, Ajax, and just bleach. I do have a crazy other theory. She's lying.
She's just a psychopath.
Yeah. But you want to talk about court-appointed attorneys, how you get what you pay for. When we get
when the cat arrived to the hospital, it was hypothermic, in shock, and barely responding.
Right.
Then the Humane Society took the kitten into custody. Zurcher Wood pleaded not.
Let me get to the courtroom part. It's not where I thought it was. We'll listen to this.
Dismissed because of a shortage of available public defenders.
Yeah. So the public defender says, let's get it dismissed because there's so few public defenders. Obviously, I don't want to be here. But then he makes this case.
The alleged victim in this case is a feline, so if anything, this is a very middling property crime, not a person crime, no real actual sentient victims.
So his defense is it's a cat. Who gives a shit?
Exactly. You don't want to be on camera saying that. I mean, talk about this. This guy's a relatively young lawyer, probably wet behind the ears, and now he's saying, "Fuck that kitty." This guy's gonna die.
I feel like PETA already knows where he lives. And here's the thing about when a story like this happens in a market. I don't even know if this is Portland. This is somewhere in Oregon. The news team kind of probably knows everybody that they've covered. So they dusted off. They wanted to give some background on the defendant in this case. And they found a case that involved her from 2 years ago.
Zurcher Wood pled not guilty, but is now held in the detention center for a probation violation in a 2021 case Point6 also reported on, where she was accused of trying to kidnap a 6-year-old boy and threaten his family with racial slurs and a machete and axe. At the time, we spoke with the boy's mom about the ordeal.
She's like, that is my child. You took my child. Give me my head back. I will kill you guys if you don't give me the kid. And that's when she was just whacking that machete around.
At the time,
take your fucking mask off, for fuck's sake.
Well,
she's
in her house. Yeah. Hey, it's 2021. Everyone was stupid. Well, no, just that lady. But I agree with you. I did think that JFK had chunk. The cat attacked the judge. I mean, if we could have video of that cat diving across to the judge.
Oh,
but yeah, look, I don't want to spend too much time up on my soapbox here, but if you want an illustration of the criminal justice system, it would be the fact that this woman tried to kidnap a kid and had an axe and I believe a sword and was still able to do this to a cat 2 years later. I don't know. I'm just going to say maybe something's broken, but that's for other people to figure out, Eric.
Christian, John's Spittle throws $5 our way and says, hey, Zane, I used to listen to Free Beer and Hot Wings every day on my way to work when I was in the military. It was the only joy I got during the day. So that is from way back. Thank you, John Spittle. We appreciate you.
And I obviously we appreciate his service. And if he is truly a fan of you, he hasn't listened to that show since you've been gone.
No, it's a disaster. It's a disaster.
Yeah. Except, as I pointed out a few weeks ago, when you played the clips of them like trying to gang up on the girl on the show, that was
right.
Incredibly entertaining.
Thank you.
Yeah. Look, so far we've been highlighting some bad people, and bad people aren't always smart. And sometimes shit goes crazy. Okay. And your woman's mouthing off, and who amongst us hasn't ever wanted to take out our large sword and threaten our girl? There's not really a lot of ways to go if she's, getting really mouthy, but if you're going to behave in a certain way, there's certain things you shouldn't do around certain acts. So let's see what happened in this
And
case.
the big piece of evidence linking him to the crime, cell phone video. Flores recorded himself the night she was killed. According to court documents, Flores and Thomas told police she slipped and fell on a sword. But the cell phone video, obtained exclusively by KOB4, tells a different story.
Okay, and I'm going to point out, we're not going to see anything. For whatever reason, he was filming her and, I don't know, he's like pointing at her and telling her, things that may or may not be true. I don't know. I wasn't there. But so he puts the cell phone down and I don't know.
It shows Flores starting to
Maybe
record the argument.
delete this at some
Then
point.
a struggle.
You want to go? No, Josie, no, baby, no.
You can hear them struggle and then hear Flores panic.
For audio audience, you might not hear that. If she's dead, then I have to kill myself. Okay.
He's talking to the devil. That's what's happening right there.
First smart thing he's done. Oh, she's alive. Oh, shit. Oh, I shouldn't kill myself.
Wow. The cell phone video.
Yeah. So he talks to her and she does say, don't call the police. This is like 9:00 at night. And he then calls the police at 7:00 in the morning. And unfortunately, she does pass away. And so I don't know. I think there's a lot of different ways it could have gone. But the fact that you have a video
shows the stabbing happened around 11 p.m. But Flores didn't call police until 7:30 the next morning.
You
can hear Thomas tell Flores not to call police after he repeatedly asks her what to do.
Right.
Do you want me to call cops? No. I need you to help. You know you're not that bad, dude.
Officer.
Yeah. So there he is saying, you're not that bad, dude. And the final thing I'm going to give on this really awful story
Jesus Christ. Please let there be something funny here.
The cops are going to talk to him.
Responding to the scene, tried to ask Flores what happened, but he wouldn't say.
We were both drinking, dude. Okay. You were both drinking, and then what?
Looks like young Anthony.
He later.
That is a very young Anthony.
Where's my gun?
Yeah.
Where's my fucking gun?
He's like, we were both drinking, dude. Well, she can tell you. Oh, yeah, about that. She actually can't tell us. This didn't go the way you wanted. And look, here on this show and on this entire network, DeWire Christian had the same thing. That looks like Kumia. We do not advocate stabbing anyone ever for any reason. But if you do, don't film it. If you do film it, delete the video. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I have to do everything on this show. I have to tell everybody what they need to know.
John Spittle, by the way, I don't know what he's just emptying his pockets now. Thanks.
Oh, he's just throwing singles on the
John.
stage. He's making it rain for
We
Easy. I love
appreciate
it.
you. God bless you.
Yeah, he stopped listening in 2016, which sounds like the way that everybody should handle it. Well, look, that's one kind of disaster where I think it's universal. People see tragedy, they see disasters, they see judges getting tackled, they see pink kittens. Bob Johnson warned young Anthony about his heart.
Yeah.
If
Lay
only
off,
somebody could tell us.
lay off on the baby back ribs, Mon Frere, for fuck's sake.
So that's a universal tragedy. But for those of us that live in Los Angeles, the only kind of death that I think really resonates with us is death on stage. And I want to spend a couple minutes. This is the first time we've ever done a Who Are These Awards shows. It's such a new concept. We don't have a jingle for it. But by the next award show, I hope we have one that's about a minute and a half. I'll see what I can do. So Eric, I assume you, like most of America, were not watching the Golden Globes, possibly didn't even know they were on. It's the same time as the Bills-Dolphins game, and it was on CBS, and it was hosted by Jo Koy, who's actually a very funny stand-up comedian.
Everybody gave that guy shit, and I watched the set, and I said, fuck that, it wasn't terrible. I'll give him a C+.
Yeah, we've got a couple of quick moments here. I want to focus on a few of them, and it's less about him. I think he's got some very funny jokes. There's one in particular that I feel like we need to highlight because it was good. But apparently 10 days before the awards, Jo Koy became the host. I don't know the backstory on that. I watched him. I've seen specials of his before. I thought he was funny. This might not have been his best night, though.
While my family was out there clanking champagne glasses and ringing in the new year, I was watching Oppenheimer. I loved Oppenheimer.
That's a what we call a polite titter in show business. You know, that's like a
I don't know if that was intended to be the big laugh, though.
No.
This one, you almost have to stay with it.
Yeah.
In order to,
Yeah, we'll stay with it. He's building.
Loved Oppenheimer. I just got one complaint. Needed another hour.
That's a solid joke because
I felt like it needed some more backstory.
Long. But there's Robert Downey Jr. casting aspersions.
Yes, he is. It's always weird because they always, by the way, in the background, it looks like Taylor Swift might be smiling at that point. That's the last time she's going to smile.
In all of 2024, that's the last time she's going to smile.
Yes.
And there's Cillian Murphy looking super creepy. And, they're just sort of shrugging it off.
My New Year's resolution for 2024 is to finish Oppenheimer in 2025. Like, seriously, I'm almost there. I love Oppenheimer, especially the first season. That's so stupid.
God.
So I mean, there's not really a lot of confidence in what he's saying.
No, it's always rough.
Yeah, and you have to know that the people that made the movie aren't going to laugh, but maybe don't look at them. Jason Sudeikis thought it was moderately amusing, so why don't you put your eyes on Ted Lasso?
Oppenheimer answered a lifelong question that's been on my mind for years. Yes, scientists do get laid, as long as they look like Cillian Murphy.
He salvages it, and that's why I left the tag on, because I'm like, it's not. I don't know. I was watching this because I pretend that I'm still in show business, and this helps me feel that way. But I show that to kind of give the foundation for where he goes next.
Oppenheimer is based on a 721-page Pulitzer Prize-winning book about the Manhattan Project, and Barbie is on a plastic doll with big boobies. I watched Barbie. I loved it. I really did love it. I don't want you guys to think that I'm a creep, but it was kind of weird being attracted to a plastic doll. It's just something about your eyes, Ryan.
Okay.
And kudos to Ryan Gosling, who's playing along with a dumb joke. He's making a very, come hither face. He's like, this isn't going well. I could definitely try to hide and get out of this. But he just stared.
The whole show, just close your eyes, Ryan. Everyone just looks into your eyes. And And Margot, it's not always about you.
You know, they're all like, do you got to bring us into this? All right. Do we need to play along? This is the beginning of the night. They haven't drank a lot yet. And then this is a moment that got a lot of attention in Hollywood circles because he does the only thing he can do after a joke just goes completely, well, it's an Oppenheimer-sized bomb.
The key moment in Barbie is when she goes from perfect beauty to bad breasts, cellulite, and flat feet. Or what casting directors call character actor.
So my favorite thing about that is that the director, you know, it's loaded in the teleprompter, goes to the behind the host shot to show, yeah, he's not going to get anything for this. And if you listen, Joe remembers the punchline.
Character actor.
Yeah, and he's like, oh no.
Oh no! Look at oh God,
actually flailing now.
Some other people wrote.
Yeah. So this is
you got head and hands. You can actually see people going, oh no.
Yeah.
Kind of like the audience watching our show now.
Well, this is like when the Situation did the Comedy Central roast. You know, this is sort of like, is this really what we're watching? All right.
Some I wrote, some other people wrote. Robert De Niro's here. Yo, I got the gig 10 days ago. You want a perfect monologue? Yo, shut up. You're kidding me, right?
All
Slow
valid
down.
points.
I wrote some of these, and they're the ones you're laughing at. Look.
Oh, that sounds like something that Chad Zumach would say. I mean, that was way Zumach.
I think you're right, but I also feel like, you know, it's anybody who takes a gig writing for anybody, none of the writers from this show are like, oh, I can't believe he threw us under the bus like this. You know, it's just other people who are like, oh, he's being so mean to those writers, you know? And it's like, well, don't write for anyone, much less for a comedian on an award show. You know, I'm so glad you mentioned Tay-Tay a moment ago, because if you need a definition of someone who's not going to enjoy being invoked as a punchline, this is not a bad joke, but Taylor's not having it.
We came on after a football doubleheader. The big difference between the Golden Globes and the NFL, on the Golden Globes, we have fewer camera shots of Taylor Swift. I swear. There's just more to go to. Here.
Oh,
He just
no.
has a drink.
Oh,
So he actually apologizes for the joke.
Wow.
And also, he didn't help himself by tripping over the word camera shot.
No, yeah, he did. He murdered that, and he kind of smished his way through it and laughed. But I mean, I think that, I don't know, maybe I'm just bad at judging comedy, but because he came back and apologized. Yeah. And then he said, oh, yeah, it wasn't that good of a joke. It was a fine joke for what we're dealing with here. This is the Golden Globes. It's not going to be anything other than these types of jokes. And that fucking bitch to get that goddamn pissed off. I mean, he wasn't even making fun of her. He was making fun of the NFL, always putting her on camera.
Exactly.
You know,
she's not the joke. Yeah, exactly.
She has a look on her face like, I can crush you, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, she would have done herself, not that she needs it, but it would have been fantastic if she leaned into it, laughed, and just rolled with it. Instead,
even
she
if
looks
she
like
didn't
a
think
fucking
even if
bitch.
she didn't think it was funny, just pretending that it was funny.
Oh my God.
Anyway, I want to end to Wired Christian with a wild theory that we do not support, but to Wired Christian thinks that Taylor Swift may have had Jeffrey Epstein killed.
That's the first time we've seen her on this show without her mouth open with 18 inches between her upper lip and lower lip.
Oh, I was wondering where the 18 inches was going to go near her mouth. Yes. I like Jo Koy enough that I want to end on what was probably his best joke of the night. It's very quick. He was talking to Robert De Niro.
Swear to God, your last performance is got to be your greatest performance ever. How'd you get her pregnant at 80?
I mean, De Niro and his wife.
CGI?
De Niro and his wife are both dying at that joke.
Hey,
so,
that is saving it. You have fucking saved the whole thing. He should have said, everybody suck my dick. De Niro just laughed at that joke.
Oh, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, what an awful gig it seems like. Very rarely does somebody host an award show and go like, it went really well. You know, I remember the first time Chris Rock hosted the Oscars. I thought he was really funny, and everybody's like, no.
Well, but, interestingly, all those humorless fucks in the audience They don't know how good they had it. I don't know how far you have to go back for when Ricky Gervais did this.
Yeah.
And,
They're lucky that he didn't even show up to accept the award that he won.
Seriously, that was pure joy to see him roasting those people like that. Oh my God. And they're like, we're too sensitive. We can't have you back. Let's bring in this loser.
Well, that was sort of one of the best moments is he makes a joke about Harvey Weinstein and everybody boos. And Ricky says, he was your friend, not mine. Why are you booing? And Jo Koy, I think just too nice for the job. I think that might've been what it was. He didn't want to be mean. He was too excited. And I guess you need more than 10 days to prepare for something like that. Anyway, I want to stay on comedy for a little bit and head over to who are these talk shows?
I said, can you dig it?
I think so.
WATV. Now who are these talk shows? Just who are these talk shows?
I think the jingle stalled a little bit there in the middle, but we'll get it jump started. It'll be all right. But in any case, I think that there have been a few times in the history of this show where you just come across something that proves to be a gold mine. And fortunately for all of you, I have brought something just like that with me today. I have a few clips courtesy of Shannon Sharpe's Club Shay Shay, where he was joined by comedian Katt Williams. And I think the full interview is like 40 minutes. And it's worth the watch. There's a lot of comments about comedians that most people don't really know. He does go after some pretty big names, and I think he's just being honest. and credit to Shannon Sharpe, because I think a lot of athletes turned sportscasters towards show hosts would make the mistake of getting in the way and trying to dial back some of this.
Yes.
And he just lets Katt Williams talk. And we're going to start small when he talks about one of the biggest names in podcasting.
That would be like me being on Joe Rogan. Joe don't want me on there. I need to be on Shannon. Joe got 6 comedians that never been funny. He want to push out. But that's really how it is.
Shannon didn't want to laugh at that at first. He's like,
no. This is like, he sounds like a homeless drunk doing an interview with Black Porky Pig.
If anybody in the Discord wants to create a Black Porky Pig meme for us.
Holy shit.
Katt has some real things some grievances to air. I guess Cedric the Entertainer had previously been on Shannon Sharpe's show, and that's what inspired Katt to go visit Club Shay Shay.
Cedric told you when you asked him, did you steal Katt Williams' joke? Yeah. He said it don't line up. How it don't line up that I did it on TV in 2018. You came to see me at the Comedy Store do it in 2019 and then did it on the Kings of Comedy. Like, what doesn't line up? This is a televised joke that Mark Curry helped me punch up and get to the level that it was. The same Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark Curry had.
I got to pause right there, because in his insult of Cedric the Entertainer, he then immediately decided to also insult Steve Harvey for stealing Hanging with Mr. Cooper, Mark Curry's sitcom that was on for like 5 years.
The reason why this didn't really have that much impact, all of this, I mean, people talked about it for about half a day, is because, one, it's Katt. No one gives a fuck about Katt. Second of all, he talks so goddamn long, and this isn't a conversation. It's just a long, angry rant. That's not funny.
Some of it's going to be funny. I'm gonna say that, but yeah, I think it's just fascinating what he says about some of the people. And again, I didn't clip the people that I think didn't have much name recognition, but he's really in on Cedric right here.
Now Steve got a sitcom where he the principal and he wear a suit and And then he gets this high top fade, making all black men think he got the best lineup in the business. And it's a man unit.
I'm not even quite sure what that means, but I love that his insult is, that's a man unit.
I don't even know what that is either. And we're supposed to know.
Well, you know, I think we have a fairly large black audience. So somebody explain that to us in the chat. You don't even have to super chat it.
Then you ask it, why you not?
Sorry, what's that?
What is around his neck? Is that like a fucking, what you steer a ship with? The fucking thing? You know,
I think that's the talisman that Indiana Jones needed to open the Lost Covenant, the Lost Ark of the Covenant. If I had to guess.
A movie star. I didn't want to be a movie star. This the same Negro that hated on Bernie with this same thing. I didn't want to be a movie star. No, you couldn't be a movie star. There are 30,000 new scripts in Hollywood every year. Not one of them asks for a country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good over KB and look like Mr. Potato Head. There ain't.
Shannon's like, are you making fun of me with that line?
Yeah. He's like, wait a minute. So he gets in Mushmouth from the Cosby Kids, Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids, and Mr. Potato Head, and reminding us that Steve Harvey's actually bald.
None. You would have to have range. I played a lot of characters, 60 movie roles. I'm not playing Katt Williams in there.
I don't know, Katt. We might not let you drink anymore the way you I mean, we ain't even got.
I'm not fueled by alcohol. I've had a sip, less than you.
And to be fair, to Katt's point, this is like 4 minutes in. So yeah, he hasn't had time to drink that much. And he does feel that Shannon has maybe had a couple more than him. The real good Cedric stuff is actually right here.
I'm just saying I can't let these dudes lie. Cedric's sitting here telling you why he ain't a movie star. He over here look like a walrus. You didn't say nothing. He can't even get his arms off his stomach sitting over here. Why I'm not a movie star. What?
It's a situation.
He never wrote anything. Remember, when Cedric the Entertainer starts, he's supposed to be singing, dancing, and telling jokes. That's why he's called the Entertainer.
That's an entertainer.
We found out he can't sing, can't dance, and doesn't write jokes. He did 4 comedy specials. They're so bad, Shannon, they're not available on Netflix or Tubi. Can I say that again for the audience? They're so bad that they're not available on Netflix or Tubi.
And that is the title of this episode. Not available on Netflix or Tubi. And I'm like, what a specific insult that is. And I should have looked to see, are Katt Williams specials on Tubi? Is that why that happened?
Yeah, I guess we don't know. But it's crazy that you get the impression that just a handful of minutes into this, that Shannon Sharpe is thinking to himself, fuck me. This is going to go on forever. This is going to be so fatiguing. It's not even a conversation.
It's not, but on his subsequent episode, Shannon and his buddy Chad Ochocinco, who's basically his Ed McMahon, we're talking about how the video had 4.7 million views by that point, and more people than a Super Bowl. But before we move on from this, there are a couple other people that Katt zeroed in on.
The Chris Tucker that we got now is Epstein Island Chris Tucker, not Smokey.
Oh, Lord.
He goes, oh, Lord.
That's the, oh, Lord have mercy. The Epstein Island Chris Tucker, which, by the way, allegedly, according to Katt Williams, allegedly.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ, you can't just blast that one out. John Spittle writes, to be fair, a few videos have popped up showing them stealing Katt's material. Okay, time out. First of all, let me just say this. That does happen where one joke is said by one person and another person says the same joke. Doesn't mean anything's stolen. Second of all, it's Katt Williams. No one gives a fuck about him or all these people that he's mentioning. So who gives a shit about all of this?
I don't know. I found this hugely entertaining. The idea that he's Epstein Island Chris Tucker, and then there's another thing on Chris Tucker in a moment. In a part that I didn't clip, he does talk about Katt Williams talks about having been on BET's Comic View, and he had a joke that was in the promo for it for years. And then Cedric started doing the joke. So it wasn't like you came up with the same idea. So I guess that's why he's upset. But again, that's his side of the story. But I assume he believes it. So that's why he's as upset as he is. But I don't know. Don't worry. There's only a couple more of these. I don't think you're having as much fun with this as I am, Eric.
No, it's totally cool. I mean, my God, black people love Katt.
LL Cooley says that. Yeah. Oh, should I have not said that? Yeah, I probably shouldn't have. You tricked me on that one. Very smart. All right. So we got one more thought on Chris Tucker.
And I'm saying Chris Tucker didn't want to be the poster child for smoking weed. He don't smoke weed like that.
Right.
He in the church. He Michael Jackson's best friend. Christmas. Michael Jackson called him Christmas. You ever met a man that gave you a little nickname like that?
No.
Me neither.
Just the way that Shannon's like, oh man, there's a lot of this stuff that I have to distance myself from. But no.
He
a
normally,
grown man started calling you Christmas.
when normally when Sharp has someone who's trying to express something, he's quick to jump in and able to jump in.
Yeah.
You notice his posture when he started. He was leaning forward, trying to engage. Now he's given up. And his bottle of Hennessy, or whatever the fuck that is getting more and more. He's consuming more and more of that, sitting back. He's like, fucking A, I'm done.
There's a moment in the middle of this where Shannon needs to finish his glass and then pour himself just a little bit more. They take the time and they show it on camera. So, these are a lot of comedians that people kind of know. Seems like some old beefs. I'm surprised that this wasn't the clip that was really making the rounds because of the allegation, the very specific allegation here from Katt Williams.
They canceled me for talking about Harvey Weinstein before the thing came out, but he offered to suck my penis in front of all my people at my agency. What am I supposed to do?
Oh.
He did all of that. I'm thinking I'm the only black person on the script. I get there, there's 3 other black guys on there.
Shannon's like, I'll tell you what they did to get you gotta whip up your dick, and you gotta lip hook that dick. Katt, you gotta lip hook that dick. Hook that dick right there, Katt.
Wow, Eric, your mic is so messed up. I feel like I'm hearing things that must not
Katt,
be coming out of your mouth.
Fuck your dick, Katt. That's right. That's what I'm telling you, Katt. You gotta lip hook the dick.
But Shannon, he's just like, oh wait, there were 3 other guys in there.
So you wonder what they did to get it.
Oh my God.
All right. My final clip is not someone who's particularly famous, but it's a comedian who I find to be very funny. And this was the line that as I was pulling these, this is the one that made me laugh out loud the hardest.
Why Earthquake not in movies? Because he's illiterate. He can't read. And they found that out when they gave him a show and put the cards in front of him.
I just love the idea. Why is Earthquake not in movies? Because he can't read. Oh yeah, so there's a lot of fallout from this. There's reaction videos that weren't fun from Ice Cube because he talks a lot about Friday, all that, but that's all right. I really enjoyed this. I'm not going to say LL's name again. Fool me once.
What does that mean? Zane, do my old Kentucky home. Is that something with my Shannon Sharp impression?
I believe that
that's a racist joke, isn't it?
I believe it is, and I believe that song may or may not be in a film called The Jazz Singer with Al Jolson. I may be a little bit wrong on that one, but
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Well, what about if we just spend a moment and we go back to just a good old-fashioned TV beef? And there's been a lot of coverage on this, but I thought it was worth noting that this all kind of escalated since our last episode. Offhand comment from good old Aaron Rodgers. And his buddy AJ Hawk definitely steers him in this direction.
Look at how straight his head is. I have never seen that guy's a fucking alien. Look at his head.
Yeah.
How is that? How is he even real?
I believe that's one of the president's heads from Mount Rushmore.
Holy shit.
This has something to do with the Epstein list that came out.
Feels like
That's supposed to be coming out soon.
Look, this guy's been waiting in his wine cellar.
Yeah.
I've been waiting in my wine cellar for this thing.
A lot of people, including Jimmy Kimmel, are really hoping that doesn't.
And so, offhanded comment, just a little joke. Pat McAfee kind of half apologized. ESPN earnestly apologized. And I watched all of Kimmel's opening from last night, hoping that it was going to be corny. He did a pretty good job, actually, in responding to Aaron Rodgers. So I've got he does bring a video that I really want to share. That's only tangentially connected to this, but so we get one joke from Jimmy Kimmel in response.
Congratulations to Aaron Rodgers, who has done the impossible. He made the New York Jets look even worse.
Solid joke.
And by the way, are you looking for someone who actually was a friend of Jeffrey Epstein, who called him a terrific guy and bragged about his affinity for younger women?
Okay.
I have very good news, Epstein hunters. I found one for you.
So this is a video that's from 1992 of a very young former President Trump and a very svelte Jeffrey Epstein, a very alive Jeffrey Epstein. And, there's a lot of music playing in the background, so I'm going to bring it around. But it looks like everybody's having fun in this video.
Yes,
and,
I can even see Maxwell in the background, too. She's back there.
She is right back there.
And these are all sex slaves who've been trafficked there, and Trump is going to go stick his finger in one of them, and that's why Epstein left.
Well, I'm glad you put it that way. Yeah, he's out of the shot now, Epstein. Because look, I think that there's a lot of people on that list that what we've seen. It would have been hysterical if Jimmy Kimmel actually was on that list, but he wasn't famous at that time. Let's be honest. The guy from the Man Show is not getting on Jeffrey Epstein's island. All right. So, go ahead.
Absolutely. Trump is so far ahead in the polls and all this shit. I mean, considering what he said in the past, I don't know why he just doesn't come out and say, oh, yeah, I fucked so many underage chicks, you wouldn't believe it. Like, it's going to fucking matter. No one's going to give a shit about that. It's Trump.
No. I mean, if he wants to have any deniability, be like, I checked everybody's IDs. They looked believable to me. I think you're right. They could kind of turn into this, but I do wonder if your last name is Trump, if you want to wade into the Epstein list like Don Jr. did. This seems like a big deal. And if true, why has nothing been done about it? He features a headline from the New York Post, and Don Jr.'s headline says, court documents allege Jeffrey Epstein recorded sex tapes of Prince Andrew, Bill Clinton, and Sir Richard Branson. Why am I showing that on this show? Well, because sometimes we do fact check here, unlike on WATP. And this is the actual headline from the New York Post. Epstein accusers claim pedophile had sex tapes of Trump, Clinton, Prince Andrew, and Richard Branson.
So left the name out. So
the Donald Trump Jr. Appears with one of those helpful. Some users have pointed out that the actual headline is here.
It makes
I don't know. I feel like we're gonna go ahead.
I'm sorry. It makes you wonder was it all four of those dudes having sex with one chick? Because let's be honest, if there's a tape of those four dudes putting it to a donkey, I'm going to watch that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, absolutely. And man, that donkey is going to have some stories to tell. Anyway, that's the extent of our political foray this week. I didn't want to spend too much time in here, and Kelly Riddle's up to $10 now.
Kelly Riddle has worked hard and come up with something for Christian to sign off with.
This is not bad.
And I'll just read it. That's the way I read it, right?
Yeah, you read it first. Yeah,
just wanted to say, and imagine Christian saying, me and Eric are absolutely unapologetic about our name showing up on the Epstein flight logs. In our defense, who would turn down a free trip? Thank you, Kelly. And then a joke from Simon 343 says, what's the best thing about dating an Ethiopian girl? She will always swallow. Ayo. Thank you.
Simon 343. I want to hate that joke. I want to call you a hack, but it made me laugh. So, and be careful when you read LL's name. He tricked me one time.
I don't understand. What is the trick?
I'll tell you later.
Okay. It says big fan of Zane. Had some funny run-ins on Reddit with him. Great show, guys. Don't forget to give Carl his Shuli's cut of this super chat.
Carl's cuts are much smaller than Shuli's would be if this was
Thank
on the
you.
Shuli network. Shuli, I believe, takes 90%. No, I'm just kidding.
Look,
I just realized I'm like, I don't need that being clipped. Obviously, we love Shuli on this show, or I do anyway.
I mean, I love all these people, but I don't know any of these inside jokes with all these inferior shows that get referenced on here.
Yeah.
Let's not forget, this is the crown jewel of the network, and we don't dabble in all your dabble bullshit. Okay,
this is still a dabble free zone.
This is a comedy show,
unless super chats dictate that we mention something.
Yes.
But no, big fan of Shuli. I would just say one more time, just because I've been lucky enough to be on Point Dabble Point with him a couple of times. All right. This so I feel like the Jeffrey Epstein list might not be going away in the next week. We might get to revisit it. But for now, let's head over for some good old-fashioned sportscasters.
Home of the hourly triple play.
W-A-T-B, who are these sportscasters? Just listen and find out who are these sportscasters?
So if you are a reporter for the Green Bay ABC affiliate, I feel like, you don't have to know all the X's and O's. You don't need to know the coaches. You don't need to know any of that. But when a member of the Packers shows up in your live shot, you would do well to know that it's not just a fan, but
Right.
this lovely lady did not have all the information she needed. She also seemed startled because she's in Green Bay. And, someone that let's just say doesn't look like a local.
And I'm sure they'll bring that energy right to Texas.
I'm just here to tell you, Pack is back.
You heard it from a fan right here. Pack is back.
Yes, the Pack is back. And I'm really bad at saying everyone's name. Is his name Jairi Alexander, or am I just way off on that?
Well, I didn't know who the fuck he was either. I would have just thought it was, if I was her, I would have thought it was some guy coming to rob me or something.
That was actually Katt Williams' opener on his tour. That's who that guy was. Yes, that's Jairi Williams from the Packers. And again, you and I don't need to know, but we don't work for the news
right
in Green Bay. So that might have been something. So I thought it was fun, but I mean, she's legitimately terrified.
Yes,
I believe he puts a hand on her shoulder, and I'm going to just assume that that's the first time that ever happened.
Just here to tell you, Pack is
he
back.
just gets too close.
You heard it from a fan right here.
Pack is back.
That's great.
Yeah, that's good. All right. So we're going to spend a moment on a couple of clips that you sent to me, Eric. I want you to set up the ending of the Atlanta Falcons, New Orleans Saints game from this past Sunday.
I got it. So it picks up where during the offseason, the Saints picked up this running back who was great the previous year. He scored a ton of touchdowns. This year, though, he sucked shit and was injured and a bummer. Everything was bad. So in this game, the Saints are kicking the shit out of Atlanta, and they intercept a pass and return it all the way to the 1 yard line, but they're winning by like 40 points. Now, typically you line up in what's called the victory formation, where the quarterback kneels down and the game is over. But the quarterback is Jameis Winston, and he's a cock. And so he said, okay, I'm going to give the ball to the guy who didn't do shit all year just to give him a little bit of momentum. His name is Jamal Williams. And so even though they're lined up in the victory formation, the other team isn't even trying. They hand the ball off to that guy, and he scores a touchdown to make it like 48-17, really rubbing their nose and shit.
Yeah.
And so everybody's like, holy shit, I can't believe he did that. That's like breaking one of these stupid unwritten rules you hear about in sports. You don't show another team up. So that's where it picks up, and then the game ends, and it goes to the handshake between the coaches.
Oh, and Arthur Smith's hot. That Dennis Allen scored a touchdown at the end. He is hot. He said, what are you doing? And he's going at Dennis Allen. You can read his lips. And
We don't need to read his lips. We heard what he said.
He's got it right, by the way, to do that.
He said that's fucking bullshit. Now, it should be noted that Dennis Allen, the coach of New Orleans, he said, "Take a knee, Jameis."
Yes,
don't
he
score.
Did. And you told me that the Falcons coach was fired that day, right?
Right. The guy in the hat there was all pissed. Like, he was even more pissed because then he walked in the locker room and the owner of the team said, "Fuck you, you're fired."
Yeah. By the way, the proof that the house always wins. I took the under in this game and it was at 63 and I figured I was safe, but apparently, like I said, the house always wins. All right, so Jameis Winston does a pretty stand-up job answering reporters' questions. There's a much longer version of this clip, but there's one interaction in particular that I think we'll let it speak for itself, right, Eric?
Exactly. You can actually sense where he goes from being transparent to defensive.
Yeah.
When you said decision made, was it right there on the spot, right when y'all mind?
What decision are you talking about?
At the end.
Okay. What at the end? What decision?
To go for the touchdown.
To go for the touchdown.
Was that something decided on the sideline after the pick, or did you wait till you got out there to do it?
We decided on the field as a team. I mean, we don't regret. Do we regret for scoring 41 points on them? Do you think we regret that?
Well, you do have to play these guys twice a year. That's all I'm saying.
We already played them twice.
I know, but I'm talking about the future. Somebody's got to play these guys twice a year.
I do love that answer. Just to pause it for a moment. Is yeah, we've already played them twice, and he's like, well, I'm just thinking about the future. And I don't know. I mean, I feel like in the NFL, it's like, how many of us are actually going to be here next year? You know?
Yeah. I mean, I've never really liked the unwritten rules. I mean, if I were, you score as much as fucking possible, whatever, who gives a shit? It's professional. Stop somebody. And then this reporter who doesn't know fucking shit, he's unwritten rule guy. And he's like, oh, well, they could get mad at you next year and really, do the same. Oh no. So Winston is like, yeah, who gives a shit?
That's all. How do you feel about it? Tell me how you feel about it.
Not good.
Why don't you feel good about it?
Because you got to play these guys twice a year.
But what about it makes you not feel good about it?
The head coach tells you to kneel it out. You're asking my opinion?
Yes.
I think you should have kneeled it out.
Okay.
Well, I'm just telling you as respectfully as I can. You answer my question as respectfully as you could, and I'm telling you as respectfully as I can that I respectfully disagree with you. That's all.
He did get the word respectfully in there about 3 times.
Right.
And
he wants
for
to be
again
sure.
for our audio audience, Jameis Winston's smiling the whole time. He's not angry. I mean, I think it is one of those painted on Joker smiles, but still,
it is.
He is smiling.
Well, and he asked. I like that. I actually like that Winston asked him, "What do you think?" That never happens. That never happens.
Yeah. I mean, look, the subtext is, I don't care what you think, but I'm going to make you say it.
That's all. You disagree with me or the entire team?
Whoever made that decision.
Okay.
Imagine if the reporter said, "Well, if you were a white quarterback, it would have been okay."
Hey, that would, boy, that kind of honesty we don't tend to get. So I do like this interaction though, because and I don't know. I mean, I feel like the reporter probably did piss himself at some point because he's like, oh, wow, I'm really getting called out for my bullshit. That's not really what usually happens to people who cover sports. I don't know who this guy was. I don't know if he's a sports writer. I don't know if he does, if he does the local sports news, he's the local sportscaster. I don't know any of that. But I feel like he probably was not feeling good after this. I've got one more football thing to share. As we mentioned, there was a big showdown in Miami between the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins. That obviously put at odds the two hosts of the Creep Off. And there was a little watch along streaming on Sunday night that featured our friends Carl and Vinny Paulino. And Carl did make the point that the so-called Bills Mafia does travel very well. And I was actually looking for something different, but I found a clip that proves it. But I do have some thoughts, some quick thoughts about Bills fans from this.
This is the first time I've ever been down here. And
so my first question is, this is a Bills fan in Miami that they're talking to. And my question for you, Eric, is do they all look kind of like Carl. I mean, this is like Fat Carl. This
that
guy's
is-
definitely Fat Carl. This isn't Carl, but I mean, I think a former announcer for the Tonight Show might mistake him for Carl.
Well, that's why, Carl in Buffalo is a 10. Anywhere else, he's a 1. Because if Carl ever was single, he would get so much Buffalo pussy thrown at him. It's unbelievable, because this guy here, he's a 9.
Well, and the thing you have to keep in mind about Buffalo pussy is that it tastes like freshly fallen snow. So obviously that's not something you want to turn down if it's offered to you.
No, Carl is busy enjoying our show, and he says that's his cousin because he knows this is the show that drives the WATP empire. So he's revealing to us that that's his cousin.
Yeah, well, although to be fair, I do believe they don't show them, but I'm pretty sure this guy has regular feet. So I don't know. I don't know how that factors into it. I'm just here to share. The lookalike for Carl was the main reason why I did this, but it does show that at one point there's about 52% of the stadium there was Bills fans.
Yes.
48% Miami Dolphins fans. To Carl's point that no one in Miami actually gives a shit about the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Everybody lives somewhere else.
Jesus, I mean, you see this chick here, both of these women, they're like 17 years old.
Yeah, look, those winters really do a number on you. That's true. Yeah.
My God.
Yeah. So the reason why I've actually pulled the clip, the fact that one guy looked like Carl did make me laugh, but we've zoomed in on something that's happening as the guy's reporting from the beach.
Oh. And of course, about 30 seconds after getting to Elbow Room, somebody from Cheektowaga came up to us and said, "Oh my gosh, Channel 7 News is here.
A kid
We're here, of course, and
doing
so
the
is
worm
Bills Mafia." But this
in the
is
sand
also
behind this guy, and they could have filmed it again because this wasn't a live shot. And I mean, this kid lives in Miami or whatever. He's probably never going to know how great he was. He's never going to know that he was on Who Are These Broadcasters.
We're here, of course.
But,
so is
I mean,
Bills
he's
Mafia,
just
but
going
this is
for it.
also-
And personally, I love it.
Yeah, he's really good at that, by the way. You know? I wonder, now do you think he's born and raised in Miami, or he's a Buffalo kid who came down and is probably drunk, if that's the case?
Yeah, well, now all of that that makes sense. So Reverend Shitstain, Powerful Pooper, who doesn't usually give us money, refers to muscly black dudes sweating and playing with balls.
Yes.
Yeah. So where's the problem, Reverend Shitstain? Yeah. Reverend Shitstain sent some great stuff that'll make it in the next week's show, but we were going to run a little long, so I told them hold tight. We'll get to it.
All right.
But anyway, we've got one more sports clip here, which I don't know. How do you feel about mascots in general? I mean, we've talked about how, you do some PA announcing for some minor league teams, and I assume that there's mascots aplenty around there. But
yes,
do you enjoy mascots? Or are you of the mind? Okay, because I mean, look, I grew up a Mets fan. I love Mr. Met. The Philly Fanatic is in a class of his own in terms of like next level shenanigans. At some point, maybe when it's baseball season, we'll revisit the time that Tommy Lasorda had the Philly Fanatic thrown out of a game because he was making too much fun of him. But look, I love a good mascot. I have no idea what the mascot is for the Seattle Kraken. He's a Kraken. I get that part, but his name is Bowie. So he's a sea troll, and I guess a member of the NHL on TNT broadcast team has had some words with Bowie on social media. So they actually get to meet here.
Maniac has been staring you down, and it's on. Ring the bell.
He shows up with the boxing gloves, and this guy does exactly what I would do: hide behind Wayne Gretzky. That's exactly what I would do.
Oh, that's Bissonnette.
Yeah, he's excited. Yeah, Bowie's honored to meet the great one, Wayne Gretzky. But now he's like, now I got to go kick this dude's ass. So he's chasing him around the set.
Get away from me.
Bowie's stealing his notes.
He threw the microphone.
trying to put a kick me sign on him. And down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. And yes, Bissonnette takes down Bowie, the Seattle Kraken's mascot.
Shit, is that
and
awesome?
that for me is just an all-time great. That's if we ever have to do a Hall of Fame mascots, which we probably will, that's going in there. And FAP points out Bowie, Baba Booey.
That was spectacular. I liked it.
Well, that's all of our new stuff for this week. But don't worry. Boy, do we have something in the great moments of broadcasting history.
Flashback. WATB. Way back into time. Let's find out who are these broadcast histories.
So we've talked about Eric Adams on this show a couple of times, and he's the mayor of New York City. I think that's important for people like EZ who might have needed a moment. Guys, he basically comes off as a doofus, and that might be a prerequisite for being mayor of New York City, or at least every few years. He has a long history as a public figure in New York. He was a police detective, so obviously anybody who takes up that calling has way more guts than I do. He was also a state senator at some point. So he felt back in 2011, when he was a state senator, he wanted to utilize his expertise as a former police detective to help parents figure out how to search their teenager's room and find things that they might be hiding. So I have to give a huge shout out to my buddy Hackride, who helped me figure out how to take the music out from under the. There's a really loud music bed that was driving me crazy. And boy, it was easy, but that'll show you how stupid I am, Eric, that I needed Hackride to help me with this.
Yes, exactly. The Diablo had to help you.
Yeah, exactly. So here he is. There's a lot of setup to this, but now he's going to go through. I don't know. I guess this is a typical teenager's room. I'm going to say it might be a little staged for the video as we watch, but let's go through it.
You can look at a jewelry box. A jewelry box of this nature, maybe a simple jewelry box.
Yeah, it looks like a jewelry
but if you look through it closely, you don't know what your child may be hiding. For instance, a gun could be hidden. A small caliber weapon could be.
So a gun that's the size of a deck of cards was hidden. I'm using air quotes. Hidden in in here.
You would have thought there would have been like a hidden compartment. It's just a fucking box.
Yeah, it's in the top of it. Well, maybe some items are hidden a little bit better, but we'll see.
Hidden inside a jewelry box. Look at the various colognes and perfumes and photos and pictures. You should always, when your child brings in his popular knapsack with many different locations, look.
You know, that is a popular knapsack, Eric. I think all the kids.
Yes.
all the kids have carry-on luggage with wheels and a handle that they wear to school.
As opposed to the not so popular bags that you may find in your home.
Let's see what's in the popular knapsack, though.
Look through it to see what exactly is your child carrying in addition to a book. Something simple as a crack pipe, a used crack pipe. Could he have found it on the street? That's quite possible.
Could he have found it on the street?
He's got a little Tracy Morgan going on there. I can hear it.
Oh, I'm gonna get you pregnant. Yeah, exactly. He definitely has that. But he was already an elected official at this point, by the way. And he's won multiple elections. I don't know how Curtis Sliwa didn't chop up this video during the last mayoral election, try and get himself a couple of votes.
But this is a discussion piece where you should start speaking with him to find out what is he doing with it. And
can you imagine this being your dad and he's finding things that he feels are discussion pieces, making you talk to him more?
Oh my God. This is too much.
Yeah. The full video is about 5 minutes. I've selected the greatest hits, but he's going to keep looking around this room though.
And the whole use of drugs, this invokes conversations. Look at picture frames and behind them, cameras.
I'd like to point out for our audio audience that when he said cameras, he touched two candles.
Right.
Those are two candles.
But you know, all he's doing in this video is basically telling you to move stuff. He's not. There's not like any new fangled way that they're being creative.
Well, Eric, this is where I have the upper hand because I've seen some of these just truly devious hiding spots that this imaginary teenager has.
Try to determine what's taking place. Behind a picture frame, you can find bullets. What does that mean to find bullets? Does it mean your child is carrying a gun? No. Where there's smoke, there's possible fire. Where there's a bullet, there's possibly a gun.
I mean, look, where there's smoke, there's fire. Where there's bullet, there's possibly a gun. I can see why so many people have voted for this guy, Eric.
Oh, my God. Jesus Christ, this is stupid.
By the way, based on the Katt Williams clips, I feel like this is what Steve Harvey actually looks like if he didn't have like the wig and the press-on mustache. I believe he is actually Steve Harvey.
Oh,
you should.
By the way, somebody pointed out to us that a man piece is a wig. We didn't know that.
You know what? That makes absolutely perfect sense. A man piece. Okay.
And we suck dick. That's what they said.
Well, that's because Eric and I have such luscious hair. Tips completely unfrosted.
Right. We don't worry about that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
The conversation and find out what are they doing with the item, and this empowers the parents. Look at all the items inside the room and feel around and see what's the possibility. Something simple as a baby doll.
Okay.
Could be just a baby doll, but also it could be a place where you can secrete or hide drugs.
Do you think he knows what the word secrete means?
Holy fuck. This guy, you could secrete drugs.
Yeah. I think he means, like secretly hide. And he probably saw the word secrete and he's like, oh, that's just a shorter way to say that. Let's hit that one again.
Oh, could be just a baby doll, but also it could be a place where you can secrete or hide drugs. Run your hands over the pillows.
All right, this is really the best job that this imaginary teenager did hiding things.
Where you can secrete or hide drugs. Run your hands over the pillows and see if you feel anything that's unusual, like a pillow like this with a button.
It's got a button on it.
Perfect invitation to hide
There's
something.
money in there.
I felt something bumpy. I will reach in, see what it is. This one could be hidden inside.
I felt
a pillow,
something
a gun.
bumpy.
Maybe something that you'll think that can't be hidden there, but it can.
There was a gun in the pillow. I believe it's a different camera setup. I believe it's the same gun from earlier, but I don't want to cast a
No. This one's a revolver. The first one was not a revolver.
Yeah.
Different guns.
Different guns entirely. I've got one more little snippet from our buddy Eric Adams.
Look and see what's inside your bookcases.
Yeah,
it could be more than just books. Perfect place to hide cocaine or other illegal substance inside the room. My message to you: you have an obligation to protect your home.
Yes, you do.
The First Amendment does not apply to the right of parents to go through their homes to remove contraband or.
The reason why this part of the clip is there. Do you think he knows what the text of the First Amendment is?
No, of course not. The First Amendment is free speech, right?
Correct. It is.
Right.
See, you had to think about it for a second, but you're also not an elected official, Eric.
Right. I mean, I had to think about it because I know that the second one is the weaponry, right?
Yeah. There's the weaponry. There's no right for illegal search and seizure. All that stuff. Oh boy. Well, I don't know about you, Eric, but I had a lot of fun with these clips today, and I just hope that Katt Williams goes on Shannon Sharp. Who's Club Shay Shay going to have on next week? That's the real question.
That's the thing. Shay Shay, that boy, he was so uncomfortable. Shannon Sharp when all that was going on. My God.
Yeah. Well, I think that a good interviewer gets out of the way. Do we have any super chats to catch up on? He asks, thinking that the answer is no.
Yeah, because there was one not that long ago from Reverend Shitstain Powerful Pooper.
Oh,
and then
yeah. Oh yeah, this is another one with him.
Yes, followed up with watching the show with no power, 6 inches of snow and 60-mile-an-hour winds. I know a lot of people are getting hammered right now with snow.
The fact that Reverend Shitstain is one, not only a powerful pooper, but also that he's using his limited resources. He's got his backup generator, Might be one of those gas powered ones. And he's like, yeah, but I got to catch WATB. We appreciate that, Reverend Shitstain.
Yes. And
I still don't want to send you the link to the show, but we appreciate you watching.
And by the way, it was a very active with super chats, and we don't try to make it a huge deal. We talk about it once, and then you kind of all just do your thing, and you really did a lot. So that's very appreciated. You're very kind.
We do appreciate it. And Kelly Riddle has the highest dollar amount overall, but also has the what will be my sign off. But before we get to that, Eric, if people need more easy in their life, where do they go to get more Eric Zane?
Well, the quickest way is to go to my Patreon, patreon.com/Eric Zane. I post a ton up there. I'm not like Carl, who posts once every 4 months. I'm kidding.
You're just checking to see if he's still watching. I know what you're doing.
No, I'm totally kidding. Patreon.com/Eric Zane. And the reason why mine is better than everybody's, not only is it because it's me, but you can get 7 days free. Okay. You put in a payment form, and then you're like, oh, well, that's where he's going to rape us. No, then you cancel it like 5 seconds later, and then you still get the 7 days. Okay. Yeah. It's absolutely foolproof.
And who wouldn't want to spend a week with Eric Zane? The answer is no one. No one wouldn't want to.
Sign up for that shit.
Yes, please do. I don't have enough self-confidence to ask anyone for money. All my shit's free. You can find me on X and Instagram, Christian DMZ. Check out my show if you like, the Blattcast, BLADTCAST, on YouTube and wherever you find your podcast. If you would like to leave us a voicemail, go to whoarethese.com to find the phone number, but please mention that it's for WATB. And I will always say the best $5 you can spend a month is to join the Patreon. The bonus episodes are #fire. The one yesterday was a free episode for everybody, but for those that are knee deep in the Dabbleverse, lots of great content from Carl and the gang over there. Well, I think that's our time. And I do believe, Eric, it's time for me to sign off. We've got it up on the screen. And I'll let you know that I'm Christian Bladt, reminding you that every mic is a hot mic. And I just wanted to say me and Eric are absolutely unapologetic about our names showing up on the Epstein flight logs. In our defense, who turned down a free trip?